That's right. And we've seen a real bounce back in the stock in the past 3 months since that strong second quarter report, partially spurred by that $25 billion buyback that the company announced in July. Now, this quarter, we're looking for revenues of $40.3 billion, EPS of $12.42. That advertising revenue is a crucial thing to watch in this report, given that there was a bit of a slowdown earlier in the year, and it's picked back up, and that is where Google still gets the majority of its revenues. We are also looking closely at this cloud growth. This is a huge competition playing out right now between Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, and we're seeing in the past week's reports from Amazon and Microsoft how much cloud is driving the bottom line. So we're going to be closely looking at Google's cloud revenues. Aren't specifically broken up by revenue, so you have to kind of sift through its other revenues to get a sense of that. So we'll be looking very closely there. Also, that'll be weighing on its operating margins. Of course, we know cloud is so high margin that if it looks like it's making big investments in things like data centers, that could ultimately mean its margins are a bit lower. Finally, we can't talk about Alphabet or really any big tech company without talking about the regulatory concerns weighing on the outlook here. We know that Google is subject to an antitrust review by the Department of Justice, in addition to a big antitrust investigation by several state attorneys general.
Now, I know on the back of Amazon's results, you noted that during the conference call, regulation wasn't really a central feature. What are we expecting in terms of the regulatory front for Alphabet tonight?
This has been a little bit more front and center for Alphabet, given that they've disclosed that there are more ongoing investigations. And in the past quarter, that state attorney's general investigation is new. So you can expect that analysts will at least ask, how are these investigations weighing on its outlook? Is it setting money aside for possible fines? We know that it's already had to do that on 3 separate occasions here in the EU. Ultimately, the company has maintained a fairly, optimistic look on all of these regulatory hurdles, but it's probably going to come up tonight.
Andrew, weigh in on this because obviously we're focused on the ability of the tech sector to continue to be a driver of upside momentum.
Yeah, so we're underweight tech as a sector in the U.S. We're probably most concerned about some of the probably more expensive secular growth names. But, I do think it's interesting. I think in some ways our concern is that this is a cyclical sector kind of masquerading as a defensive sector, and that if growth is slowing down, that these companies will not be immune from that. And even if we look at the year-over-year earnings growth in the U.S. tech sector, it's showing one of the weakest levels of year-over-year earnings growth of any of the major sectors. So I think it kind of gets this halo effect of whatever's going on, tech will always be fine. And in terms of the actual underlying earnings power, it's already started to slow, and we worry that continue.
That said, if you look at Alphabet stock, there is an argument that it is undervalued versus the sum of its parts. If you look at the different parts of the business, self-driving Waymo, that's so far into the future, and talking about revenue models from autonomous seems very hard to put into Google's model at this point. So I wonder whether it is being trapped a little bit by some of these big futuristic investments.
I think it has, and I think those still make up such a small slice of revenues. Investors don't really know how to value them, but if they do continue to invest so many funds in not just in that self-driving unit, but also in ventures like its health venture, which is something that we've seen is an increasingly big focus of these big tech companies as a push into health. So if those end up being kind of major earnings drivers, that could totally change the way that people look at these companies, and it's not so much about ads and cloud, it's about that too.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.